Chapter 2, Lesson 5, Model Fraction Division. So our learning objective is you will use fraction strips and draw pictures to model and solve fraction division problems. There are two types of division problems. In one type, you'll find how many or how much in each group, and in the other, you find how many groups. So investigate. You have fraction strips as your materials. If you do not have fraction strips, you can just draw them on this page. The class is working on a community project to clear a path near the lake. They are working in teams on sections of the path. 4 students clear a section that is 2/3 mile long. If each student clears an equal part, what fraction of a mile will each clear? So we're dividing 2/3 into 4 groups. So you can use fraction strips to model the division, or you can just draw it. Okay, so we have one fraction strip here. That's our whole. What are we trying to find? Well, we're trying to figure out how much is in each group. If 2/3 is shared among 4 groups. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 2/3 divided by 4. So if we take, so we have our one whole, then we have 1/3, 2/3 here. So this is what we're dividing into 4. So we need to take that and divide it into 4. Now, if we just imagined that there was another third here, we have to think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There would be 6, but we only have 4 of those 6, right? But if there was 6, each group, each of these groups, there's 4 groups, each of these groups has 1 out of the 6. So 2/3 divided by 4 is going to be 1/6. So each student will clear 1/6 of the mile. So again, to explain that same problem one more time, we have the whole, but only 2/3 of that whole mile is going to be cleared. We're clearing, or we're dividing that 2/3 into 4 groups. So group 1, 2, 3, 4. But if we think of it out of a whole, we broke each of those 1/3 into 2, so there'd be another one here. So there are 6 total sections, but one group here is only going to clear 1 of the total of 6. Okay, so let's look at B. Another team clears a section of the path that is 3/4 miles long. If each student clears 1/8 of a mile, how many students are on the team? So we're going to divide 3/4 divided into 1/8. So again, if we think of this as a whole, even though we're only working with this much, because we're only working with 3/4, I have to think if I divide these into 8s, actually those don't need to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, but these over here don't matter, just the ones that I have under this 3/4. So if I am going to, I use fraction strips to divide to model the division. So I drew my model. What am I trying to find? I'm trying to find how many groups of 1/8 are in 3/4. Okay, now when I look at this model, I'm not looking like I did last time. I wouldn't just say 1/8. I know that 1/8 is how much each student's clearing, but I'm wanting to know how many students are on each of the team. So if I look here, I'm looking to see how many of these boxes I have. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that means that 3/4 divided by 1/8 is 6. So there are 6 students on the team. So just like I did up above, I already knew what I just found out right now, how many groups, and then I had to find out how much area they cleared. But here they flip-flopped it. So they already told us that each student cleared that much. So now I was looking at how many groups there are. That's probably the most challenging part of this lesson, is to understand which one that they're asking. If you have some questions when you're practicing this on your online practice, make sure that you raise your hand and ask your teacher so I can go over it with you again. Just remember to pay attention to what they're asking. That's the most important part. Again, our learning objective was that you will use fraction strips and draw pictures to model and solve fraction division problems.